Hi everyone, connecting Austin to Seattle.
We are Dos Amigas talking everything F1,
I'm Lisette.
and I'm Amanda.
We're back with our little fun podcast. It's been crazy, y'all. It's been
Yeah,
really crazy.
Lisette has had a work travel. I've had a work travel, and then I was in Japón, y'all. You know what I didn't do, Lisette? So we
What?
we met these British people at Universal, and they were going to Suzuka, and I didn't, ni se me ocurrió to go. Pendeja, right?
It is a
But we
little bit
did go.
further out.
It
I've
is.
heard it's a
It is.
trek.
Yeah, yeah. So we didn't go, but we could have
That would have
gone.
been cool.
But I did do car related things while we were there. I went watch shopping for this like Ayrton Senna
I
tag
saw that.
SEL, and I found one. It's on
Did you buy
our
it?
I did. It's on our Tiki. I bought it. And then we went to Mr. Hero's car shop where they have like some of the cars from the Fast and the Furious, like
Oh,
Tokyo
yeah.
Drift. And they have a sim there. And my husband did the simulator. And you can do like drifting sim, you can do like rally racing, you can do like he did like an F1 simulator. That shit is crazy.
It's
The F
crazy.
like he's like, "Do you want to try?" And I was like, "No." He was like sweating, like trying to control the car because like the seat moves and then like the chassis moves too. I could see like
Oh.
it's so when we say that this is a sport, it really is a sport. So I did do some car related things. I just didn't go to Suzuka.
Was his neck sore? Did he work out his neck muscles?
He did not do that. But maybe he should have. Maybe he
Maybe
should
he
have.
should.
Maybe he should
That's
have.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
So
so
anyway,
glad
guys.
you went.
Yeah.
So we're
After
back.
like we're back after a couple weeks gone. I've missed our little
Me
chit chats.
too. I did try recording, by the way, and I recorded twice, and both times, once I got to edit, the mic, the audio wasn't working.
No.
So those episodes were washed, but I will be touching on my rants because it's back because of this Hungarian Grand Prix and what happened there just gave me flashbacks of two other instances that I ranted and raved around for other episodes that audio failed. So hopefully this audio doesn't fail because I have thoughts. I have
She
opinions.
has thoughts. Of course, well, duh, we have opinions.
I
You
know.
guys didn't know.
I know.
Okay, so the headline here is that Lando finally gets his first win of the 2026 season. It looked like it was going to be Oscar Piastri's for like the majority of the race, and then Homie had a DNF and some other series of unfortunate
Unfortunate
events.
events.
Um, and the midfield was kind of invisible. And then we're gonna get into Lisette's rants, not raves, but rants on
My
the
rants.
FIA and what the hell they have going on there. Okay, let's talk about the front runners of the race. So, um, I think we talk like just one thing that I have in my I like to take handwritten notes, y'all, from the race. One thing that I was just kind of like recapping over the past two races is um the the McLarens and the Red Bull are like getting their shit together. And like we knew it was just like a
Mm.
matter of time, but we have seen this like step like this like
Massive
ladder,
improvement.
yes,
Yep.
over the past few races where I mean Norris and Piastri, like the start of the race, it was like Norris and Piastri. Max, you can just never
Max
count.
was maxing.
You can't, Max is maxing.
Max
You
is
can't,
maxing.
you can't really
Rule him
rule
out
him
ever.
out. And then, you had the Ferraris and even the Mercedes, well, not Russell, but Antonelli, was in the mix too. So like I was happy to see that mix at the not happy because I want Ferrari to always win, but I was like, oh, this is different. This is cool.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
We're getting a lot of different variety of winners in the last couple of races too. Like in the podium, it's been a really good. I think it makes it really fun and exciting that it's not this like the dominant team like winning everything, right? Because I think the last couple of seasons it was like, okay, here's the Mercedes and the Red Bull again, or here's and it was just like, and now, for better or worse, I guess, all these like engine reliability issues and crazy penalties have really given us like a really good mix of, our podium finishers. And quali, I think, has been really interesting too. And in quali, I found it really interesting. So we can definitely get into the race, but this is where like I think Red Bull is acknowledging like they have the car, right? They have a car to get points, to finish in strong positions, and now they're playing that team strategy, like that toe that Hadjar gave Max so that he could end up, in what was he in P2 or maybe it was P3. I mean, it was like playbook, right? And I was like, Red Bull is, I have to give credit to them. Like they're doing everything within their power to get themselves back in a competitive position, and they're doing a really good job at it.
Yeah, and Isaac is doing his part as that second driver for sure.
I feel like he needs to get his flowers because these last couple of races, like he has been kind of crucial to Red Bull, and for Max's, competitiveness. And it reminds me of Checo. Checo did a lot to enable Max to take that like championship, that champion position with Red Bull. And it's good to see that Hadjar is making a name on his own for Red Bull. And he had an amazing, amazing weekend. But yeah, I was excited to see Lewis. I want a Lewis win. Like I really want a Lewis win. Happy that Charles his car is getting better. I don't know what's going on with Mercedes.
Yeah,
what is going on with Mercedes?
Although George for the race started in like 18th, and he had an impressive comeback. He made his way back up the field, so that was really. I was like, that's impressive. In my notes, I do also say I have decarb. Okay, we see you.
We see you.
We see you.
We see you. They're doing
Liam
really
Lawson
good. The Racing Bulls.
Arvin Lindblad, yeah. 8th and 9th.
They're the best of the rest. Like Alpine has been dropping in terms of performance. And now like the Racing Bulls are the strong best of the rest. Like
yeah. I was like, okay. And I do think they like complement each other. It's like they're on par with each other in terms of like, their performance and stuff. So, yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about papaya rules that didn't actually need to. Well, they didn't do it this time, obviously, but Oscar was having like a pretty stellar race, and then I think around somewhere like after lap 30 or around lap 30. He and Carlos have contact, and then from there, Oscar's race just fell apart.
Slipped away, fell apart.
Yeah, he then also had like a gearbox failure, which, I mean, the contact was unfortunate, and we'll talk about the contact later. But yeah, the gearbox thing, I'm like, what? And then reliability wise, the poor Cadillacs again
on fire.
Like, yeah, even the commentators were like, didn't this just happen last time?
Every race.
Like that's like, yeah, they have these like gremlins that they can't
fix.
Yeah.
And Williams came performing worse than the Aston Martins.
Oh my God, we have a whole segment on the Williams too.
Oh my goodness.
I will say like the first like half of the race, I was like, okay, like there wasn't like a whole lot of
overtakes or no.
Well, maybe there were, but we didn't really see them.
That part, which we will talk about as well.
Yeah.
What is happening? Okay, where should we start? So let's talk about Oscar's unfortunate race because,
I know.
okay, so here's the thing though, and the Oscar lovers and the Norris haters, whatever. I like Oscar. I think he's a fantastic driver. He was leading the race. He positioned himself so well after from the race start. He did an amazing job. But part of the papaya rule drama was that Lando's pace was faster, right? And he was asking his team to make a team call and have Oscar give him the position, which they did not do, which I appreciate that they let them race. Yeah, and same. I think eventually they might have made the call, but I think they wanted Lando like to really fight for it, right? And he was doing, I mean, his car was so freaking good. Like, I don't know, I mean, their power unit upgrades, I know that they changed his power unit. That's why he ended up having to start from the pit or like, I don't know, last position or something a couple races ago. But his car's looking so good, which I think this is the first time we've seen him actually battle for his championship position. Like he's the champ and he's won nothing this entire season.
I know.
Which is crazy. But I felt for Oscar, and I especially felt for him because of that, incident that he had with Carlos in the Williams. I think it was around lap 38 that there was impeding due to the issues that were happening with the blue flag technology. And there was so much controversy that we'll get around that, but he was so pissed in the interview.
Which is also crazy because he normally does not emote.
He usually does not. He's like, this is the dumbest thing I've heard.
He was like very angry.
Very angry.
So you can, that he was not happy.
He was not, and I wouldn't have been happy either.
Him. Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like to add insult to injury. Then his gearbox explodes or just stops working, and he ends up DNFing. Like, what a bad race day for him.
Yeah. 15 laps to the end, his gearbox failed. Like, ugh.
Terrible. Which reminded me of Antonelli's was like a power engine, but a couple of races ago, remember when he had also a DNF because it was a couple races and it just like crapped out on him. I was like, oh, pobrecito.
I know.
But yeah. And speaking of Antonelli, he was kind of, Mercedes didn't really show up at all this race. I mean, they were still in the top 10, at least Antonelli was, but I was just surprised that, for a while they looked like they were going to be struggling. And then they played their cards right. Their strategy was great. And of course, he somehow ended up in P2. No, was he P2 or P3? P3, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him, though.
That's one thing about Mercedes. They don't often fuck up their strategy, unlike our friends at Ferrari. Anytime I think about Ferrari's strategy, that meme with the clown?
Yep. That is how they make everyone look.
That's me today. Yeah.
I know. Okay, can we talk about Ferrari though?
Let's do it.
Let's jump into it. I had a lot of ranting going on this weekend, but as the race was finishing, I was messaging Amanda and our friend Demi, and I was like, what the F is Ferrari doing? Because at this point we knew that Lewis had a 5-second penalty.
And they were telling Charles to push.
Instead of Ferrari trying to... Okay, let's recap here, guys. Lewis is in second position in the championship points behind Kimi. Any point advantage that Lewis can get at this point gets him closer to being a true contender against, Kimi Antonelli. If Kimi has a DNF one or two, or doesn't finish in the points, or doesn't, finishes like, I don't know, eighth or ninth place and Lewis finishes up. Like, those are point advantages that you need any point you can get. 5 seconds, instead of Ferrari making a team call and telling Leclerc to maintain his gap because he was at a 5 second gap, we come to find out that Ferrari informed Leclerc first of the 5 second penalty before Lewis even knew about it. And not only that, but Leclerc started pushing. Charles started pushing to reduce the gap so that he could get the points advantage or get the points. And I was so pissed off because I was like, why the F would they do that? At this point, it's a team sport, right? It's an individual driver sport. You want your champ, whatever. But it's also a team sport. And so right now, this is Ferrari not thinking about the long game of, hey, who is closer to getting that championship? And right now, it's not Charles. It's Lewis. And so I was so mad because Charles is not a team player.
I was just going to say,
he's not.
He said even if they had given team orders, he wouldn't have followed it.
I don't think he would have followed it.
So I think that's why they didn't. I think that's why they just kind of like at this point, every man for themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think, to your point, that they were thinking about the driver championship points at this point. I think they were like, it's not going to be a podium. So like, whatever. And let's give our boy Charles some love. And like, I don't know. Like, I think
you're right. But that's why someone's job is strategy. Like, that's the whole point.
No,
right?
Pero ya sabemos que no hay strategy in Ferrari.
That's true. Anyway, I was so pissed off. And, I think it really bothered me that it was confirmed that Charles found out first, because I think if Lewis would have known sooner, and I don't know what the time gap was of like when he actually found out he had a penalty, but I feel like Lewis would have pushed. He would have pushed to maintain that 5 second gap. And I don't know if that was detrimental. I don't know if that had anything to do with like how quickly, Charles started gaining time on him. But I was just like, what is Ferrari doing? ¿Qué están haciendo? They're playing checkers. Like, they're not looking at their chess pieces, right? And I think
They never do. That's like their MO. That's why it's so hard being Tifosi, man. Like, it's so terrible. But okay, here's another thing too about the Ferraris this weekend. Speaking specifically on like Lewis for his pit lane speeding penalty, it was 0.1 kilometers per hour for speed. I'm like, seriously? 5 seconds for that? I don't know. It just seems kind of wackadoo. And like, I feel like all of the, and we'll get into this later, but like, I guess I'll just save it. Like, all of the penalties and like the actual like punishment that is given, or the penalty that is given, just seems kind of crazy, like, and very arbitrary. Like, sometimes it's ridiculous. It's like ridiculous sometimes.
It's nonsensical.
Like, yeah.
It's nonsensical. And sometimes it's like, very well knowing like the intent of how the penalty ended up having happened. Like, they know there was no intent behind it, and yet they still apply it. And I guess that's the problem with like writing like the policy and the rules, right? But if that's something that needs clarification, it's like, and I get it, that's a hard position to put stewards in, is like understanding the intent of how something happened, or like giving some wiggle room, right? Because when is too much leeway? Like, how do you actually implement that? It gets really hard. But at the end of the day, like, that is such a BS, like, fraction of like a speed infraction.
Yeah. Totally. And like, even the commentators were like, what?
Yeah. Everyone was like, are you serious?
Yeah. It's kind of
It's crazy. It's
Well, but
crazy.
so anyway, for the Ferraris, they ended up Leclerc fourth, Hamilton fifth. Um, so which is so crazy because well, and I missed this because we were traveling. But going into the weekend, they were looking like very strong, like
Very
contenders
good.
for being on the podium. And like this happens, I think, a lot with Ferrari that they have like a strong initial showing and then there's like again to your point there's no like cohesive strategy that gets them through the weekend. I don't know, like it's just it it's it feels like rare that the stars align and things work out for for everyone um on the
It is,
Ferrari side.
yeah, it's really weird. And I think
Yeah,
another thing that I'm thinking a little bit about with Ferrari is they have two of the best drivers for tire management. I mean, Lewis and Charles
totally.
are
Yeah,
some of the
such
best
a good point.
drivers for tire
Mm-hmm.
management. And I feel like Ferrari's a little risk adverse to pushing and like letting them go a little bit further on the tires and not like I feel like they're when they make their pit calls, I feel like they are too risk adverse. I'm like, can you really not maybe like push it one lap further? And I don't know, like I don't know shit about like maybe it is the
Mm-hmm.
drivers that are like pit me now, but I feel like they manage their tires
No,
so
because
well and it's always the
Lewis was
pit
saying he
strategy.
didn't.
Like
Yeah,
exactly.
Lewis was saying he's like, no, I didn't need to. I didn't
Yeah.
need to do that. So
Yeah. So
that brings you. That's a totally great point. That like they they also don't give them enough time for the drivers to be able to push back.
yeah.
I'm like, what are y'all doing over there?
Yeah.
Um,
I like that radio call. I think Charles was asking something about like where he was or something, and they were like, I think after he had come into back on the track from like after a pit stop or something, and they were like, oh yeah, like something about like just keep going and you'll get back on the rhythm. And Charles was like, what
what
rhythm?
rhythm?
Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
that made
Okay,
me laugh.
so this goes to our like our blue flag FIA tech thing, but one of the things that I'm wondering about like Ferrari's strategy that like one of the I'm like kind of like connecting some points, but like one of the commentators was basically saying like a lot of the analysts like on the pit wall are relying so much on like the screens and everything and
The technology.
the only crew I think he said, and if I'm getting this wrong, oh my god, I'm so sorry, but the only team that doesn't have like a straight wall of like computers is Red Bull, where like they can actually see like what's happening on the
Hmm.
track. Where I'm like, I wonder if there's like something to that, like that Ferrari's just like not paying attention, or they're like overly relying too much on other things and like what the drivers are telling you or like what you're actually seeing like with your own eyeballs. Like I wonder if there's something to that. But the commentators were making that comment in relation to the blue flag and penalty inconsistency issues and like the tech that the FIA has for that. Um, yeah, I wonder if that's it too. Like, are
I
they
think
just not
there
paying attention?
is. I think there is a little bit of piece of over reliance on technology and data because I mean, still with Ferrari, and I think Lewis did this with Mercedes too, but he wouldn't. He doesn't like the simulator because he's like the data
Mm-hmm.
doesn't represent the effectiveness of like what I know the car is doing, and
Mm.
he doesn't rely too much on the tech and the data, right? Or he does, but I think he it's like that human factor plus the data is what informs like how he wants his car set up. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
like this is what the sim is showing. And I do think that there is, like we were even talking about going back to your travels, like this over dependency on the technology to show us everything, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what happens when the technology fails? All these BS, like insane situations happening on the racetrack because, you're over reliant on the technology. And it is good to know that they have like backup systems still. By backup systems is doing it the old school way with an actual flag and like little digital meters. But I mean, it's such a huge issue, but we've seen it through multiple races where and I'm just going to kind of dive into this whole red flag situation because I was thinking about this situation plus the the speed limit in Monaco. Yeah. There was another situation that happened that is literally costing teams points and actual races. Like it's costing these teams actual money because if you end up like in the top 6 in, your constructors, you get a shit ton of money. And like this poor technology has real consequences, and the unreliability of everything from like the software and the technology failure. I was like, this team is one of the most technologically advanced, this sport is so technologically advanced. It's always on the cutting edge of the technology, right, for engineering, software, and yet the technology that the FIA relies on is constantly malfunctioning. I mean, and the confusion that it causes not only for the drivers but also us as viewers, right? We saw this with Silverstone where I think the ledger or whatever the system incorrectly flagged that the race was going to start at a certain lap, but the rule book, didn't enable that. So the system was saying one thing, and that's why it caused so much confusion because even the commentators were like, oh, we're going to get, a restart.
2 laps of racing.
Yeah, and that wasn't the case. So it just causes so much confusion. It's causing points. This whole blue flag issue it started flashing for everyone. And I guess on the dashboard of the drivers, it actually tells them who the red flag is for. So like you can see it's like blue flag and it'll say maybe like, Carlos Sainz, like, so me, Carlos, I'm about to get lapped and I need to move out of the way. But that system was failing. So everyone was seeing a blue flag and everyone was like, who does this apply to? So they were relying on the engineers to have to communicate to them if they could see, right, who was going to be getting lapped. And some engineers did it. Like, I don't think people were realizing how quickly like this was developing, right? So some engineers were quick and were communicating with their drivers. Others maybe took a little bit longer to figure it out, but it impacted a lot. Yeah,
and that's it impacted. The commentators were saying like, look at the track. And exactly. That's where they were making the observation that most teams, on the pit wall, it's just like a bunch of screen, and that there are very few teams, and I think they said Red Bull was like one of them where it's like, no,
look, you can see. Yeah. And we even saw comments about like, what do you mean you don't know you're about to get lapped? Like, look in your mirror, like if you see someone behind you, like get out of the way. But I know that the whole controversy with Carlos Sainz, because that like really ruined, Oscar's race. And then there was the drama that unfolded afterwards where Carlos made the claim that A, the blue flag systems were failing, B, Oscar was in his blind spot so he couldn't see him, and then the other factor was that he was battling Alonso during that turn. And then the stewards released their notes saying, no, we have receipts that your engineer told you and you didn't get out of the way.
Here's what I think. I think Carlos se encabronó and was like, I'm not letting you pass me. He's like, fuck you.
But why though? Like he was so like you're battling the Aston Martin for like 22nd place.
No le importa. No le importa.
It's the man of principle. You know, it's the principle that counts.
He got spicy and he was like, no.
I thought it was so funny if that is the case, that he's like, whatever, like I'm not moving. It would be so interesting if that was the case. But at this point, it's a he said, she said between the stewards and Carlos. And apparently the same thing happened with Ollie Bierman.
Which we didn't know.
Which we didn't know.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but same thing happened. I think for like multiple turns, they were telling him he impeded Isaac Hadjar. And he ended up getting a penalty for it because, again, like they just took a while to figure out, like, oh, it's you, Ollie. Like, and I guess as a driver, I guess you would lose track of like how many laps you're doing, but like you also know who is in the front, and if you see those coming behind you, you know you're getting lapped.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I don't know.
There's so much that they're doing though at the same time. Like I
know with all the buttons and stuff.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I don't know. Like I used to swim like the long distance, like the 500, and without the counter, you totally forget like where you are. So I don't know. Maybe they just kind of get tunnel vision for like what their main objective is, and everything just kind of like goes out. So I can see why. Yeah. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt of like they're just like zoned in, and again maybe everyone is over reliant on the tech instead of just like look in your mirrors, hey engineers, like look at the track, see what's happening. But yeah, we have had a lot of these like tech gremlins this year with like the sensors, and then like the penalties themselves are kind of all over the board in terms of like the time penalties or like the spot penalties. Like it's just,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like you not only have volunteer stewards, right, that will probably have a very inconsistent approach to how they interpret the rules, and then these people making these penalty calls are reliant on the technology and the data, and that's failing. So like I feel a level of frustration ever since the Monaco race, where it's just like when an anomaly is happening so frequently, even though the data and the technology is saying it's working, all other signs are saying it's not. So look more closely, right? Like really, really examine it. And they're not doing that. And so I think that's really frustrating. And then the other thing that is frustrating about this world of technology in this sport is kind of going back to George's situation with the software system of his car. Yes. And then I'm like,
no one's listening to him.
No one's listening. They're like, nope, it's your driving. And like, I know Toto is being criticized a lot for how he had responded and saying like, it's not the car. Sometimes it's the driver, or like the driving style. And then it's like, oh, wait, it's our software. And like, I don't think it's a coding issue, perhaps. And I kind of wanted to talk to my husband about this because he's a software engineer. And
get Pablo on the pod. Dile, andale,
I know we need an expert opinion here, but like if you hear that maybe the code is written correctly, but how do you know if it's written correctly and there's no bugs and there's no one to tell you otherwise to flag like it's done properly, but it's not working as it's intended to? Like who flags that?
What if it's AI automated? What if it's AI created code?
Well, that is another thing that
like what's going on
is a real issue though, because
no, I know
we're seeing it. I hear my husband talking about this all the time. He's like, AI is writing the code and they're using AI to do the code reviews. And he's like, and that is just like this spiral of AI slop. and I don't know, but also it's just kind of like, how do teams mitigate in this world of technology, right? How does the FIA get on top of their technology issues? Like, how do teams ensure that their software is working? It's not
So
like bugged, but it's not working the way it is
yeah.
supposed
Well,
to.
I think too, um, what two things? Like one, the commentators were like, just do it the old fashioned way, right? Like just like do things manually, like how we used to do. Sure. Um, for like the rules and stuff. And then like for the cars themselves, like I do wish that the team principals and like engineering leadership would listen to the
The
drivers, to the
drivers.
actual people that are driving the fucking car. Like Sergio Perez was saying forever that there was an issue with the
With the
car
car.
and that they over indexed on
The
things
data.
for Max. And then, like,
Yeah.
obviously, we now know, hey, he was right. And then you have, I mean, George is a whiny baby. Like, I don't like him very much. But,
But here we
like,
are defending him
I
because
know,
he's been
because
saying.
I know. And I'm like, at some point, I feel like the leadership for the teams needs to trust and, like, at least explore to validate, like, okay, the driver says that this is the it's the car. Like
Right.
let's look into those
Let's
things, right?
explore it.
Yeah. Instead of being like so defensive and like so like, oh no, no, it's not the car, it's not the engineering, like it's the driver. I feel like they say that so often and I'm like, get a grip. Like these are the people that are most familiar with the car. They're fucking
They're
in it.
the only ones. There's only 22 of them that know the feeling of what the car's supposed to be doing, you know? And
Maybe
they've been
listen to them.
literally doing this since they're children,
Yeah.
and it must feel, anyway, I really felt for George when all of this has been unraveling, because I think it's happened like 3 times now where he's like, something's up with the car, and they're like, it's probably your driving. It's like, oh, it's this thing. Nope, that was our fault. Oops, that was our fault too. And it's like, at what point, look, I'm gonna say the S word. I'm like, this is borderline sabotage. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're trying to sabotage him, but like,
No.
what's that dashboard confessional song? Like, vindicated. I
Yeah.
am like,
I am selfish. Yeah.
yes, I'm like, that's what George is singing because he's
That
like,
is what
fuck
he's
yeah.
singing.
He's like,
I know.
I've been saying this. He's like, I told you so. I told you so.
It's crazy
Yeah,
though.
it's
It's
crazy
crazy.
times.
FIA, you have so much money. Get it together with your technology. You need to do a full audit of everything, of your software, of your ledgers. Are your like meters working? Like, this is just ridiculous. Like, this should not be happening. I was thinking of the World Cup and how they have chips on the soccer ball now to detect any contact. And this happened with the Portugal Croatia game where it was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
there was a hair that touched the ball, therefore it was offsides. And I was like, you're
Okay.
telling me, I know, don't get me started. Don't get me started
No,
on
no, no.
FIFA.
Okay, yes, but like the VAR graphics that they show are caca. You
They're
know, I was
so
like,
bad.
se lo inventaron. I didn't even trust it because I was like, this is
Look,
what your
look.
sensor is telling you. This looks like 1999, like my like Nintendo 64
It's because it only
graphics.
happens every 4 years. They're not investing in a graphics
But
and a UX designer.
do you know what I'm talking about
It's
though?
so
Like
bad.
they're showing me, and I'm like, what is this
I know.
janky mess? Y'all, I miss the World Cup so bad.
I know.
I miss like this the last part of it because I was in Japan. But yes, okay. To your point, we digress. But to your point, like if in La FIFA they have also very corrupt organization, but if even if they have like we have okay. There's so many sensors in this sport. Like to your point, like we should not be having these issues, or there should be like I don't know checks to make sure shit's working. I mean, I'm sure there
Yeah.
is, but like, I don't know.
Somebody
something's weird.
who works for Formula One, do you guys do system checks? Please let us know. Like, whoever knows someone, like, do you know a mechanic? Like, please,
I
I
want to
like
know.
I want to know. Actually, I'm going to start like reaching out to everyone on TikTok because I really want to know. It blows my mind that this is happening during a race. Like
Yeah,
how is
I'm
this
so
happening in a live race?
I'm so curious. Like, it's like it's like a rolling circus, right? Like they pack everything up, and then like they set everything up in the new oh my God, the new track. I'm tired. That's why my words are failing me. Um, there has to, I am really curious. Yes. So like if you work in this, like let us know. Like I am curious to know, like, as the track is getting set up, there's so many different logistical pieces. And then they have like the practice sessions and all of that. But like I really want to see and like know, like, how does everything get set up? When does it get tested? How does it arrive? How do you guys unpack it?
Show
What are
us.
your contingency plans for, like, I love operational things. Like, I'm like,
I
tell me how
know.
this works.
I know.
Like, are
But
there backups for the backups? What happens if something gets stuck in customs? Like, like,
because this calendar's so defined, well, minus the whole Bahrain, Malaysia situation, but I are these systems being set up or are they already like permanent fixtures? Because like Coda, for example, like this is a permanent race and it's gonna be for a long time. So isn't the infrastructure already there or is it getting set up
I don't know.
during the weekend? I want to
I'm
know.
curious. Well, because like, so yes, it could be like a track like Coda or like the Hungaro ring, right? Where like
Yeah,
they
like
run a
it's
bunch of
just there all
different
the
types
time.
of races, but like I assume, I don't know, I assume that like every style of racing has their own stuff, but like obviously for the street tracks, that's not staying there forever, so they have to set that up.
Yeah,
I don't know. Tell us. I'm
we're
so
curious
curious.
people. We want to know.
Mm-hmm.
We want to learn. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, y'all have so much money. You have a lot of people working for you. Like, get your technology in order. Like, please,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
please. You're costing your viewers a lot of confusion. And let's talk about the midfield viewer. And
Speaking of viewer confusion, this is my rant. And I saw other people on like TikTok like talk about this too, but this race for me solidified. I was like, I did not need to see 70 laps of Norris, Verstappen, Antonelli, Hamilton. That
no.
was there. That was like set for like a while. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm like, I feel at very few points in the race we cut to the middle field or even like the stragglers. Even when like Bottas was having his fire in his car
brakes were on fire.
for the
Yeah.
millionth time, which hello, like they got it. What's going on there? I like don't know what's happening in the midfield, and I feel like we're losing out on a lot of like really interesting like challenges or like just like important to know things. Like you told me that like Oscar also got like not Oscar, Ollie got a penalty, but like
Yes.
that there was like no real coverage of that, and then there was like no commentary of that, and I feel like so we watch it on Apple, right? That's where you watch it. I don't know if this is like a shift now that, but you tell us, because like I know this is a global sport. People watch it on different platforms. Is that something that we're just really only seeing on
Apple TV.
Apple TV coverage, or is that happening?
What's the Sky coverage?
Well, the Sky coverage just has a different commentary, right? But the stream is all the same. So like there's like a couple different things here. Like I feel like in the past, like last year, there was much more consideration going on to looking at the field outside of just like the front runners or the top five. Now,
And they should be.
Yeah.
They should still be because every race, cars are coming up with upgrades. Like Audi was looking so good during quali and practice. Hulkenberg was driving insanely well during the race. And I don't think I saw much of Hulkenberg at all. I didn't
No.
see any battles, between, I think they did some side coverage of like the racing bulls, but even Lawson and Lindblad were battling each other. I think Lawson overtook Lindblad at some point. Um, yeah, like we just, and these are the teams that are close enough in the points in the constructors to where like the points matter, right? The overtakes matter. And we're not
Yeah.
seeing any of it.
And honestly, the front runners were boring until lap 38 when Piastri and
Yeah.
Carlos had that. Like honestly, like that was like a little bit boring. So like show us something else. And I feel like in previous years they've done a really good job of um just like showing the full field
Yeah.
of racing. And now it just overly indexes on like the
Like the
top
top three.
five or top
Yeah,
eight,
top five.
really.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was like trying to like look at, because I like to take like handwritten notes of like what's happening like lap by lap. I don't always do the best at it, but like I don't even have notes because like they never even talked about it. I had to
No.
like go and look at like the leaderboard and be like, okay, where are the Williams? Like, where is Audi? Where are the Racing Bulls? And like make a notation. But like, I even have here like, where's everybody else?
¿Dónde están?
I know.
¿Dónde están?
So yeah, I just feel like
Yeah.
they're missing out on a lot of that. Also, like those teams also have fans like want to know what's going on, and then we're also just like missing like critical like race details, like about like racing incidents or penalties. Like, come on, I don't know. It's just so strange. I would like to know from people.
I
like,
would have liked to see Carlos and Alonso battling it out for last position.
Yeah, show me that. You know, like
and impeding Oscar. I would like to see that.
yeah, tell me more about that. So like I don't know, like do people that watch like let us know in the comments, TikTokers, like does anybody else like have that same issue, or like are people watching on like different feeds? Like I'm so curious for other people, like how are like maybe outside of the States, like how are you all watching? Do you see this happening and playing out in your markets too? Like I wonder if like the Sun like in Spain, like if that's a different coverage, or like if the Sky Sports UK coverage is different.
Yeah, see, Hulkenberg finished in ninth place. That's what I'm telling you. Like,
yeah,
I want to see the best of the rest. Like, I think those battles are really important. And you know what? I'm surprised that they didn't show it, because even George like had a lot of action to make it back up the grid, because he, with that stall issue that he had at the beginning of the race, he ended up like almost dead last.
Homie was an 18th.
An 18th. And he ended up having to battle his way back up the field. So there must have been really good midfield action of him overtaking a lot of drivers. And I don't remember seeing
I don't remember seeing that either.
Any of George's like overtakes. And
no.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think we're missing out on some action, especially when the race is starting to feel like a little boring. I'm like, give us something. Like, I want to see the brakes on fire.
I mean, they did show that.
I didn't. Oh, I might have missed it. I don't remember seeing it.
But like again, it's just like not enough diversity of like what they're covering and stuff, and it used to be so different. And that's like my gripe. I'm like, I want to know what else is happening, because then I just don't feel like I have like a comprehensive. Like if I have to go to like TikTok and like social media later to understand like what was happening in the race, then that is not good race coverage.
That's true. Yeah, when you're
like,
finding out through the viewers of like, oh, this happened, you're like, what?
And I'm like, how there was a girl, I need to ask her, like, how did you know that was happening? Because like, what were you, I'm gonna go ask her and be like, what were you watching? Like, how were you watching it? Because I I shouldn't have to do that as a viewer. And I wonder too, like if they're catering more towards new viewers, but like even new viewers, like that's boring. Like I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, you would think you want the new viewers to get a sense of the full race action, right? Like everything that's going on. I think that's why I really love F1 is because even though yes, you have your teams, like you're also rooting for the underdogs, right? And what's happening at the end of the track, at the end of the grid. Isaac Hadjar is another one where again, like we didn't see a lot of his action and he had an incredible race. Like he did a lot, you know.
Yeah.
He ended up in, I think,
He
sixth.
really did. We didn't see that.
We didn't see it. I'm going to have to look for like, I don't know, Isaac Hadjar race highlights or something just to like see what happened because I didn't see it during the coverage of the race. So
yeah. Okay. That's my rant. Let's see if it shakes out for the next. We are in the summer break, and then the first race back is Zandvoort. I just like saying that word. So fun. Zandvoort.
I know.
Before we close out, let's talk about Williams. And I know that you feel for Albon and Carlos, but in my notes, I have Williams. What the heck? Poor Carlos, 18th. Not just this race in and of itself, but like they ended up finishing Alex P17 and Carlos P18. And this is not just like a Hungaroring like tire deg thing. This is not we've talked about this a little bit before, but when James Vowles went over, how many years has it been at this point? I probably should have checked
3 years.
Okay, what the fuck is going on? And I was going to give James the benefit of the doubt. One of the things that I think that F1 does very poorly is that they don't give team principals enough time to actually like implement real change. But yeah, it's been 3 years and you have like literally nothing to show. Like you are
nothing
back at the bottom. The Haas's are like doing better generally,
improving.
Then when that's happening, I mean, come on. And like, they
are the biggest that's what's I was telling my husband this after this race. I was like, it breaks my heart that they have two of the best drivers and their careers are slipping from their fingers because Williams not only, I mean, they made zero progress this season in terms of improving the car. If anything, it's getting worse.
I think they're like they're going backwards.
Regressing. Yes.
Yes. That's the word I was looking for.
They are. And, you know, I expected the car to be lighter. I think the drivers had expected the car to be lighter. They have a Mercedes engine, so it's not like they have a shit power unit. They just haven't been able to execute at all on the improvements of the car that they've made. And none of the improvements have really reduced the weight. So they're literally driving tractors out there. And I just don't understand when you have this much time to develop the car, knowing the regulations, like how did you build it so overweight? I don't understand that.
And
I don't understand it.
I feel really bad for Alex because like he's been there
for the 3 years.
And yes, and like again, like I feel like listen to the drivers and like what they're telling you about like what feels good, and like I don't know, like I it's so disappointing because Williams was struggling so much under their prior leadership.
Yeah.
And then we thought James Vowles was going to come in and like really fix everything because he was like Toto's
and
like,
he's a Mercedes. He's from the Mercedes gang, and they're excellent.
Yeah, and like I really wonder like what's going to become of this team. Like, okay, they're at the bottom, but like if the Cadillacs weren't literally flaming out every race, where would they really also be? Like, would they, like they could still very much well be like at the bottom of like like if Cadillac had gotten their shit together, like, I mean, a brand new team could be beating them out because like they're just not.
Again, they're battling against the Cadillacs and the Aston Martins.
How sad is
Last
that?
year, they were the best of the rest.
I know. I
And
don't know
like,
how that.
how
Yeah.
are they in the position they're in right now? I don't know.
I'm gonna dig into this a little bit more. Like I haven't cared enough about Williams. I know like you like them because you like Alex, but like I really want to dig in more into like their engineering leadership, like who's design.
Well,
Like I need to figure
there's a
that out.
lot of issues, right? I think
Oh, okay.
there's been a lot of controversies that have unfolded this year about their kind of like secret real owner, like
Mm,
who's like
yes.
truly running Williams. There's been lawsuits, there's been claims of discrimination and sexual harassment. I mean, they are embroiled in terms of like the internal like leadership. There's a lot going
Mm,
on. And when you have a bad work culture, how are you going to incentivize good talent to
to stay. Yeah.
how are you going to poach top talent? And I
Yeah, you
think that's
can't.
really
Yeah.
telling about McLaren that they are poaching top talent left and right.
Hmm. I don't even like Zach Brown that much, but yeah,
I
it
don't
seems like
like
he's
Zach
doing a great job.
Brown,
Yeah.
but they're doing something right. They just poached, I forget his name, someone from Mercedes to go be the new Helmut Marko for Red Bull. This was just announced, I think, today.
Mm,
So, but like, who is Williams going to be able to recruit if their performance is regressing
yeah.
and they're not performing well in the constructor? So, are they going to have the funding? And
I
then
don't know.
there's the internal leadership issues. Like,
Yeah. Well, and then too, like for Alex and Carlos, I think they're just like sitting ducks and like they're just kind of like letting some of their prime, not letting, because like the car is out of their control and they're doing the best that they can, but their talent is being wasted
yeah, they're
at
prime
this team.
years.
And I'm just like, would you like as a driver, like you kind of don't have very many options. Like he, Carlos didn't have very many options and he ended up having to go to Williams once the Lewis kind of kerfuffle happened, right? And
Hmm.
so you're at the mercy of like, where's an open seat? Who will take me? Like that kind of situation. And then it's not like you can just kind of like bounce to another team. And I was like just thinking right now, like, would you just be like, my boy, and call me back? Like maybe another team will call me next year, but like in F1,
It's risky to do that.
out of sight, out of mind. Like I'm
Yeah.
so surprised that Valtteri and Sergio, having sat out, got called back in for Cadillac, and even para ellos es una chinga too. Like
Yeah.
it's not working out. And so like we
Well, and
kind of
that's
saw
why I
that with
feel for
Daniel Ricciardo
Alex.
because he took a time away. Well, he kind of was forced to take a time away, but like
Yeah.
then like you can't really come back. Like and so you're in a rock between a rock and a hard place. Like they're kind of like damned if they do, damned if they don't.
It's
But
awful.
then who's gonna pick you up?
Well, and that's why I feel so much for Alex because he had that second Red Bull seat. He got cut. I think
Yeah.
Mercedes took him as their reserve driver,
Mm-hmm.
but it was really like up in the air whether he would ever have a seat again. And he is a really good driver.
Yeah.
He's a really good driver. And Williams, right, with the whole transition and they were not performing well, they weren't a good team. That's where he ended up having to go.
You know who should leave? Lance Stroll. Like
Give
give
the
that a seat
and
to someone else.
and Fernando.
Bye.
Us both. Bye.
Go away. Bye.
No, literally. Like they are doing nothing. And is it the car? Yes. But it's also like Lance does not want to be there.
No.
I refuse to believe he doesn't want to be there. And Fernando, like, I just feel like his time's up. Like, I know that sounds mean, but his time's up. Like, give the seat to somebody else that deserves it and give others a chance. And I think people would say the same thing about maybe like Lewis, you know, but Lewis he's a 7-time world champ. Like, that's harder for anyone to be like, he shouldn't be here. It's like,
different story.
It is. He's a league of his own.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. And there's a lot of rumors, right, that Alex is looking for another team. And there's rumors that Carlos is looking. I would
too. I'd be like, who else is going to take me? Hey, Haas, what's up?
No, really. Well, because Ocon's seat is in danger too. I don't think Ocon's going to get a new contract.
Colapinto too. Like, it seems like Flavio doesn't like him very much. I mean, but also...
Yeah, but Flavio says he wants Fernando back.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
Okay. Well... that wraps it up for our topics. We have the summer break where we think, well, I don't know what's going to happen. They can't touch the cars in the summer break. Then there's like no working in the factory, none of that. So it's like a true break. I am really curious to see what happens off track. Like what are they all doing in the summer break? What's happening?
They're all gonna be on their yachts, living their best life. Look, as they do.
Good for them. They're all gonna be in Monaco. The next race up is going to be Zandvoort.
Zandvoort.
Yeah. Yes. When is that race? Let me look it up.
August. It's like in 3 weeks, isn't it?
It is. August.
And this is the last year. This is the last year of Zandvoort because it has been replaced by Istanbul, by Turkey next year. So this might be the last time we see a race.
Wow. I like to say Zandvoort.
No more. Say it as much as you can.
August 23rd.
Oh, that's a long time.
Holy shit. Girl.
Last time we had a lot of downtime. Remember all the drama that unfolded? You know what? Maybe we can go back and catch up on what happened with the Italian tax fraud investigation. What happened with the revaluation of the appeal for the Monaco speed limit infractions.
We'll do where are they now stories.
Where are they now? What happened?
What happened?
Closing the loop.
Literally, okay, dude, August 23rd. What am I going to do with my life? There's no soccer anymore, and there's no Formula One.
Well, there's like MLS. You know.
Anyways, I think that wraps it up for us.
Yeah.
We've been MIA. We came back. Now there's a break. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about in the next couple weeks. Maybe
we can give our thoughts about the races that we missed recording for, because I do have thoughts on Silverstone, and I had so much to say about the previous race in Austria, but anyway, maybe that's what we could talk about.
Okay, the album's gonna drop. I need to go to bed.
She's jet lagged, y'all. She's living in the future right now.
Literally, like traveling to the other side of the world is time travel. Like you were living in the future. I was like waiting for like emails to come through from like work, and I was like, I've already finished Friday. They're barely gonna start Friday, and I was already in Saturday, y'all. Like, it's wild. But yes, new episodes drop Tuesday or Wednesday, and then sometimes we are very busy with work and life, and
we're doing our best.
We're doing our best.
But
thanks for sticking around.
Check out our TikTok, check out our website, circuitosychisme.com, and our YouTubes, our TikToks, our Instas, all the things. We're going to post hopefully today. So you get this podcast because the dozens of you missed us, I think.
Yeah. We love you though.
We love our people though. And Amanda, we have 101 followers.
We do?
Yeah.
Look at us be so excited.
Look at us. Hit it. We're big. We're big time now.
I'm a star.
Look at us. Anyway.
Oh my God, we made it. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.